Welcome, everyone. Oh, Ian, that is some crazy echo. Welcome, everyone, to Season 12, Episode 19. How you doing, Ian?
I'm driving through a hellacious storm. I'm going to be muted for a while just listening.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. It's Ian's driving in a storm. That's crazy. So he'll come on in a bit. Yeah, he muted the echo because he's driving right now, so it's on Bluetooth. But so welcome to the Reeds. We are getting some fun chapters. Hopefully Ian will be back home soon and all set up. But I did tell these guys we had guests tonight, so they would be on time.
Yeah.
You know.
It worked.
It worked. Got you all here on time, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So
do we have guests?
Did you want guests?
If you have guests,
we can get guests. Do you want guests?
Yeah. Let's have guests.
All right. Let's get guests. Thank you, Mother Dan.
Booyah! Booyah!
What's up?
Hi, gentlemen. Ian, drive safely. You're the worst Uber driver in the world right now, doing a podcast in a storm while driving.
It's just a little bit of lightning and a lot of bit of rain. No big deal.
Hey, Dan, your screen's rotated.
Yeah.
Am I upside down?
You're sideways.
You're sideways?
God dang it. Why isn't this? All right, let me see if I can.
I kind of like it like that.
God dang it. All right, well.
Edition.
Welcome to
I'll just.
Where even
there we go.
There we go.
That's perfect.
Sorry, I can't get you on my laptop. I tried and it said access blocked. I do not know what's going on with StreamYard. It is baffling to me. I've used it for 3 years and I still don't understand it. Whatever. I'm on my phone. Hi, guys.
It's all good. All good. Well, we got puppets in a dress. Is that a dress you're wearing, Brother Dan, tonight?
Yeah, it is. It's
so pretty.
Special occasions. Yeah, I wear for whenever I'm a guest on somewhere. And also, Happy Pride. Let's just carry it on through July, guys. I mean, our motto on our show is to please be as gay as you want to be.
Yeah.
Hey.
Dan wearing his Bella dress. Yeah. And thank you, of course, Way to Leaf for our Bella clip that we use from time to time. That is theirs that we use.
It's fun. Everybody loves it.
Yeah. Fun time.
Is that a possum dress?
No, it's Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
It is Belle.
So it's a Belle.
Fun times.
Hi, Ian. Hi, Chris. It's good seeing you guys. It's been too long. I miss you.
It has been too long.
It has been too long. I completely agree with that sentiment.
Yeah. Yeah.
We enjoy having you.
We do. So need to do this more often. But anyway, announcements. I don't think we have really any big announcements. So I'll just go right into personal life. What's going on in my life? I'm going sailing this weekend. That should be fun. Ian might be coming. Ian, are you coming?
That depends on the Brazilian. We're still working that out. We might have plans.
I was wondering how
I'm waiting for Google Translate to process our last message, and then I'll let you know.
Fair enough. Yeah, so it's one of the big races of the year. That's this weekend. So they need a crew, and I got permission to go, so I'm going. It's the Moonlight Triangle, which I joke around calling the Sunset Triangle because we're usually back. The boat I race on's fast enough that we're back before the sun even sets usually. But normally it's supposed to be a night race. So we'll see.
What a flex.
Yeah, Ian's getting a Brazilian wax. Yes, Ian might be getting a Brazilian wax.
I would let her. If that's what she wanted to do, I'd say okay.
Alan, can I dig a deeper? What is your role? How many people are on this boat, and what do you speak? Are you one of the guys that crank shit real fast when they say? What's your role?
So it depends on the race we're doing. For this particular race, I'm going to just be doing I'm going to be a trimmer. So yes, I am going to be cranking, but also trimming sails. Sometimes I'm tactician, sometimes I'm driving, sometimes I kind of can do any position on the boat. It just depends on what they need. They need trimmers. So
does trimming sails involve scissors?
No.
That depends on what kind of crew you have.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, trim hard, my man. I hope you have a good weekend.
It'll be fun. Yeah. So I mean, I'll be doing the spinnaker and the jib, which is the big sail in the front, and the big sail going downwind. So been trimming those sails and making sure that it's going fast. But yeah, it should be a fun race. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, we can get a little more help. Otherwise, I'm trimming the whole boat myself, which I can do, but it's gonna be a very exhausting night. But yeah. So,
do you guys see lots of dolphins when you're out there?
Yeah, all the time. Actually, to the point where they're not even that excited. It's not really that exciting when we see them. Like new people on the boat get really super excited because you get like they always come up to the boat like every time you're out there. So like it's one of those things where the first time you see it, like everybody gets really excited when you have a new person on the boat, and everybody else on the boat's like, "Yeah, fucking dolphins."
Yeah,
it's just dolphins.
It's exciting if a turtle pops up though, because those are every once in a blue moon.
Yeah, turtles are more fun. If you see a sea turtle, that's more fun because it's like, ooh, I haven't seen one of those. You see those like maybe once every blue moon. Yeah, like Ian said.
Do you have whales in that triangle?
So where we are, you can see the whales if you go outside of the bay. They don't usually come into the bay, but if you on this particular race, the race is to the mouth of the bay, Chesapeake Bay. So you go out to the ocean and back. So you have the chance, but this time of year, not really. This is a wrong time of year for it. So in our fall races, like when it gets to the fall, the humpbacks will be coming through. And they'll usually be right outside in the ocean, and they'll be what's called spyglassing. So it's when they come straight up out of the water and they look at you and they come back down, like they don't jump.
Oh, they just
yep. Yeah. When they come up and look at you and go back down. So you'll see humpbacks.
We have had humpbacks in the Chesapeake Bay. And it's a really big deal when it happens. And usually they're lost and took a wrong turn. That's very rare. But there was one a couple years ago and it was all over the news.
Yeah. Every once in a while they wander in and they try to usher them back out so they don't accidentally beach themselves or get crazy. But yeah. More sharks. You get sharks inside the bay a lot. So yeah.
I was on a paddle out. A friend of mine had passed, and he died surfing actually. And so there was a paddle out, and I didn't have a board, but I went out on like a little skiff into the paddle out. And on the way back, we were into the harbor, and literally within 6 feet of us, I think it was a California gray or a humpback, like surfaced and blew its thing. Our boat was teeny. Our boat was rickety and everything. And it was just right in front of us. Oh, it was great, man. Yeah, it was frightening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can come out of nowhere. That's for sure. Yeah, the sharks, unless you're trying to catch them, they don't see them often. The sea turtles you'll see every once in a while. Dolphins all the time. You see dolphins all the time. Whales are pretty rare. But yeah, no, that's pretty much the sea life that you'll see. Yeah.
Watery peekaboo. Yep.
Watery peekaboo. Pretty much, yeah. The humpbacks will do that. Occasionally they do beach themselves, which is really sad too. We actually had that. The one died, and when Ian and I were in college, a humpback beached itself, or I think it died and washed up. But
I remember that. I think.
Yeah, it was in the Outer Banks, and we went down there, and they were dissecting it. So it was really smelly, but we got to get really close to it and watch. Because
it was really cool because they were very eager to tell us everything they were doing. So they were dissecting it and explaining everything to us.
Yeah, So VIMS, Virginia Institute of Marine Science. It's the Marine Science Institute here. They were down there with scientists. So whenever any whale does die or wash up ashore, the whole team goes out there to do an autopsy to figure out the cause of death. And then they talked about like everything they do. And then they bury the carcass as well. But it was really fascinating because like they're talking about like they try to figure out if there's anything they can do to save further humpback whales. Was it died from fishing gear? Was it died from natural causes? They try to figure all that out, and then they identify it. They cut the baleen out so they can ship it off to different museums and things like that, so kids can learn more about whales. So they just went through all the process that they go through when they process the whale, which is sad but really, really cool in a scientific kind of way. So it's fascinating. It's sad that it's dead, but there's no saving it. So I guess they're making the most out of it they can.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Anyways, how about you guys? What's going on in your guys' world?
Ian, on the spot.
Here, I can. The rain died down. I don't have anything super exciting to report from last time. Wait, shifting gears. So, I mean, tonight we were at a swim meet, which is usually done by 9 o'clock. But by 8, it was thundering and lightning. And these summer swim meets, this is the last meet of the summer. It's the last opportunity for these kids to qualify for the champs meet. So they do everything they can to not cancel it. So there was lightning popping everywhere, and the radar looked horrible. And they're like, we're waiting until 9:30 before we call it. Holy crap, that was the biggest lightning ever. Sorry. You know, like those spidery ones that go across the sky? So it started in like one long branch, and then it split into like 100. Did you see that? Yeah, and it lit up the whole sky. That was awesome.
That's awesome. Fun.
Yeah. So anyways, eventually I just looked at the radar and I was like, there is no way we're going back out there. I'm leaving. And then somebody started playing. What were they playing? The soundtrack from Wicked. And I was like, yep, that's my cue. I'm out of here. Yeah. But that's been my life for the last many weeks is summer swim and work and get a tan. Oh, 4th of July was fantastic. We had great weather last weekend. I guess I should say that.
It was fun.
So hanging out with family and swimming and boating and drinking and eating, all the fun stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got to use the big green egg this weekend. So my father-in-law has one of those, and he's never how many years they've been there now? 3 years. They've never used it.
Oh, okay. Did you smoke or just grill?
Oh, I smoked salmon. I was like, this won't take too long. If I mess up, I can always bake one, something quick and easy. And then I got in there and I started looking at the YouTube videos, and so I was like, this isn't so bad. I could do this no problem. So my backup baking piece, I ended up putting on there as well. I was like, either it works or it doesn't. And it came out perfect. I mean, just wonderful.
That's awesome.
And then I converted it over to a grill and then grilled hamburgers and hot dogs and bratwurst. And I was just like, give me all the things to throw on here because it's super easy. Like you set it and forget it. Like it's like a microwave.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was fun. But we had a great 4th of July. A lot of people over. There was a family reunion that my wife had. So we were familying and peopling the whole time. Went to church, enjoyed that, and then just had like a nice relaxed Sunday afternoon. So busy Friday, Saturday, relaxed Sunday.
Cool. Yeah. 4th of July was good. We did the local parade. We have a parade that goes through our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that. The kids were dressed their bikes up and they did the parade and they rode down, which was fun. It was fun.
Do your towns or cities allow for fireworks?
Yeah. They have the professional ones, but then they always turn a blind eye to it's not legal, but no one cares on 4th of July, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's how it is in Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Like even the police put out notices on social media say we will not be answering any firework calls. Like they're not going to respond to them.
Oh wow!
They know it's illegal, but they're not going to do anything about it. So it's like, don't even bother calling. You're wasting your time. They're not.
Did you see that the factory in South Carolina exploded into the world's largest 4th of July?
No.
I felt so bad, but at the same time, I was like, "That's so odd. Like, it's horrible." It's like that's awesome, but that's horrible because these people lost their business. But it was a fire, so like, and it's a fireworks store.
I remember
so, like,
a few years ago. This might have been a long time ago now. The San Diego fireworks. This was years ago, 4th of July, where the city fireworks. They lit them all off at once. It was like a 20-minute show, and they all went off at the same time.
Off a barge.
Yeah,
off a barge in 15 seconds. They all just
the whole sky is
great.
white. Like it's just like all light and like blinding light. Like, and we're done.
Yeah, and you see these horrific shadows from the people starting to back away because it was so bright.
oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a few years ago. It's still hilarious. Yeah. So no, we had plenty of fireworks going off. We just because we had small kids, so we didn't light any of our own off. We just did the angry incense sparklers. That's what I call them, angry incense.
I like that name. I'll be stealing that moving forward.
Yeah, that's what I call it now. Ooh, angry incense. And then we have the little like popper things that you throw at each other, which is fun.
Yeah,
little gunpowder, like little snap poppers or whatever.
I used to go up to people and just snap them in their ear and stuff. That was really mean, but
yeah,
that's a little bit of gunpowder. It won't hurt anything.
What about you, brother Dan? Did you do anything fun?
For 4th of July, we had some people over from California. So we were hanging out here. Other people provided our entertainment. I swear our neighbors must have spent $5,000 because they were just blowing things up for over an hour. Just these big like mortars, big things. It was great. I don't know. Maybe there was a collection because there were some people over. Maybe they were like, "Hey, everyone throw in $50." But it was quite the show.
Yeah, when you get those big 4-inch mortars, like the really big ones that you put down they're really cool to watch. Even more cool, like when you're at a college party and someone decides to light one and throw one into the middle of the dance floor.
So in California, they take.
I don't know anything about that.
In California, fireworks are a big no-no. Anything that leaves the ground it can cause a fire. It's been proven, right?
Oh, sure.
But here in Michigan, it's the Wild West, and so I like Roman candles. Like I tell my kid, like, all right, stand over there, we'll stand over here, and let's. And start. It's like the closest thing I can get to Harry Potter, where I'm just shooting fireballs from my wand.
I love it.
Yeah.
Did you see
when we were in college? We used to do lots of fireworks. And I've shared this on the podcast before, but I don't think you're a guest at the time. We had actually a firework drinking game that we played in college. Ian and I did. And I've shared this before, but it was in case you ever decide to have a fun drinking game that I don't. Actually, I should put a disclaimer that I don't recommend playing this, but everybody gets a bottle rocket and a bottle of beer, and you chug your beer inside a circle. And if you finish your beer, you're allowed to leave the circle with your lighter and your bottle rocket and try to shoot the bottle rocket back into the circle where everybody's still chugging. So it's incentive to drink fast.
Buddy.
I usually got like 3 shots off before everybody else finished theirs. It was fantastic.
Things I don't recommend actually doing.
As he tells his children, don't do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. Don't ever do this. Yeah, there's a lot of things we did when we were younger that wasn't necessarily smart, but it was fun, but not smart. Anyways, guys, ready to talk about some Wheel of Time? We got some fun chapters to get into.
Sure.
All right. Chapter 45, The Tower Stands.
Dan, your dress should have been red today.
Yeah.
You know what? I am all Aja's, so maybe I'll just take this thing off.
All right.
All right.
So yeah, So Egwene's in the rebel camp, and she is wearing red to symbolize the impending reunification with the Red Aja. Over 50 members of Black Aja have been apprehended and beheaded at this point. Although there were some that actually did escape.
Yeah, there was like 20 that escaped, but
20 that escaped. Yeah,
50 killed. Well,
yeah.
50 put to death. Let's not use the word killed because they betrayed. So
They're beheaded.
Act of war. They're beheaded.
Yeah, around 20 escaped, and they found 3 more that were not on the list as well.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a heads up real quick, guys. Every time I chime in during this chapter, I'm just gonna say Egwene is a badass, and she is the hero we didn't know we wanted and needed, and that's all I got.
So I feel like they tried to tell us that in the very beginning when we were hating on Egwene, and people were like, "Why are you hating on Egwene?" It's like because she's Egwene. Like, why not hate on Egwene? And now that we're here, it's like Egwene clearly is the main character of this book. Like, she is what the book is all about.
Even if I wanted to play devil's advocate and try and be critical of the way Jordan handled her character arc at this point, I will admit I could have never done better. I won't say the perfect character, but I don't know how you do better. Yeah. So I got some love.
Yeah. So they are preparing with Bryn for the attack on the White Tower at this point. Ramonda comes in, tells her that the women went to go deal with the Black Tower and to ready the troops with Bryn. And this is also where you learn that the Sleep Weavers are gone as well, which they're not really too happy about that.
Yeah, and she's not particularly happy that the women that they sent were people that were kind of like her compadres, because they really had expected to hear something back from the Black Tower by now, and they've heard nothing. So she's got her suspicions. I think this is the first moment where maybe Rand's kind of turning a blind eye to things. I think he should be a little bit more apprehensive of what's happening in the Black Tower, but as she's the Amerlin of the traders, she's still Amerlin, and she's realizing, hey, I need to keep my eye on what's going on. I need to figure out what's happening with my people. And all the while there's like the beating drums of war in the background, and there's preparation for her to move forward. So she can't stop and ponder on it too long, but at the same time she's realizing something's amiss.
Yeah. Anything you want to add, Dan, or anything else from this opening scene?
No, I guess, do you guys, I mean, so she has people at the Black Tower. She hasn't heard anything back, but she's like, oh, that's disturbing, but doesn't really address it. Rand had issues with Black Tower, but doesn't really address it. What's going on with the Black Tower? What are you guys thinking is like, is everyone ignoring? I mean, is everyone ignoring it, or are they? I mean, are these people just sitting in the waiting room waiting?
I kind of think that's how it feels to me. Like, I feel like there's a dark friend running the Black Tower, and he has his plans for the men of the tower. I feel like Rand feels as if he's got a force there that's being built up, so there's really nothing he needs to do, because when the time comes, they'll be ready to fight. And then we have Egwene, who just hasn't even solidified her own rule yet, so she has no time to really investigate and check into it. But once she does, I think she's not going to be happy with what she sees.
Yeah, and it's been a few episodes since we talked about it, but last time we got into the Black Tower, like Chris said, we just kind of accepted, yes, the head of it, dark friend, whatever, but also they had their own little mini split within the tower, because Logain, I believe, and the people who are kind of traveling with him are pretty firmly on his side. And then, of course, there's a couple of the Ashaman that Rand is handpicked and has them working with certain people, and I think we could trust them. I'm curious if Rand handles it. Rand is so busy with the big picture. I don't think so. So I wonder if this is where Logain really steps up and handles that for him and then gains like favor / position with Rand. So remember, Min sees a crown on Logain. So maybe Logain is the one that kind of retakes the Black Tower. And, Rand is all about handing out thrones and crowns. And he's like, all right, dude, you the man here. You're now the king of blank, and gives him something. So maybe that's what's happening there. But I guess to kind of answer your question, I really don't see Rand getting in the weeds on that one. He's thinking so big picture now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
They are really kind of like North Korea, right? I mean, no information is getting out. If you look at the satellite at night, there's no lights. There's no electricity. They are like just kind of their own little like hidden thing that's right in broad daylight, but
Yeah.
no one kind of knows what's going on.
As someone who's seen it from the sky in person, because I've flown into Seoul, South Korea at nighttime. And when you're coming in and you look out one side of the plane, it's just pitch black. And then all the lights on the other side of South Korea, like you see all the city lights and everything, and it's just like dark.
That's the Black Tower.
Except for the occasional missile they lob out.
But it's like there's no lights and all over there. It's like, what's going on over there? Like it's just dark. It's like they're living over there.
But how smart is that? Because so far, every other chosen that has kind of showed their face or started to really get involved with politics or growing an army or even behind the scenes, like they've been exposed. Mm-hmm. And Rand or somebody has gone after them. And so assuming this is Damodred or somebody, in whoever Taim is, I thought we had figured out who it was before, but now I can't remember. Anyways,
they're Damodred, but that was predictions you made.
They're doing it kind of incognito. They've drawn their power close to them. They got their loyal people close to them. They're not really causing a ruckus yet, and they've been able to build power. So whenever somebody does have to deal with them, it's going to be a little something.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Well, they table that for now. They go on to talk about the missing Terangariel, the dream, the Sleepweavers.
Wait, we got to side quest this.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, so I've also thrown out there that Perrin's biggest contribution is going to be winning a battle within the dream world. And so our Aes Sedai, all except Egwene, and they've had their ability to enter this dream world taken away from them. We have some wise ones that can get in there, right? So they might be in on this fight. But if those rings are now in the hand of Dark Friends and the remaining Black Aja and whatnot, they now have the ability to infiltrate there. And so, anyways, I think there might be something where Egwene kind of figures out what's going on. And then like she links up with Perrin and is like, oh my gosh, you can wolf out in the dreams. That's so cool. And, Hopper's been talking about like, hey, the last hunt is coming and the hunt is going to be in Teleron Riyadh. That's where they lay their smackdown. So I think it's all starting to come together with those rings getting taken away and moved into the wrong hands.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like more time should have passed by now. I feel like this is happening so rapidly. I expected there to be more gaps and we'd see like children being born and we'd see like, boys becoming men. And I think Ian may have been the one that posted like, oh, our dictators are our children, or our leaders are children.
Yeah.
And it was just a meme of Wheel of Time. I'm like, wow, like I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact timeline, but I think all 14 books take place over like 2.5 years. It's not a long time.
Yeah, and so I expected more, I think.
We've doing this podcast longer than actually.
Yeah, Alan has had multiple children. Chris has gotten married. I've been in and out of how many relationships now? Bought multiple houses, deployed a couple times. A lot has happened since we started this.
Yeah.
This is my 6th beard,
I'll
and I
say
really
if
like this one. I think it's gonna stick
Rand can
around.
finally start to grow a little bit of a beard. Maybe.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, maybe.
And for Rand, 5 days has gone by.
Yeah.
So, but what we're seeing here, though, is that the rebel camp now has lost a lot of advantages, right? They lost the advantage of traveling. That has been now equalized with the Shanshan. They've lost the traveling with the White Tower as well, and also these dream terangreal that they were using all these things. The playing field has kind of leveled out a little bit in the last just a couple chapters.
Yeah.
Well, so
yeah.
I don't necessarily see the Dream Triangle as a benefit at this point in the books because so many Dark Friends can travel into the world without those rings. And they've already been spying on and manipulating them in Tel Riyadh. So I don't see it's such a big loss, except for the fact for people that can't actually go into the dream world. And at this point, I don't think it's as necessary since Egwene has now taken the tower. Well, she's about to. We haven't gotten there.
I would agree. It doesn't feel like a big loss to our White Tower Aes Sedai. I guess more what I was suggesting is it is a significant gain for the Dark Friends. Because I don't think enough of the White Tower Aes Sedai were skilled in using it in many ways to be able to do anything with it. But in the hands of the wrong people, I think they're going to cause some mischief. And I want a steak dinner bet on Perrin and Hopper having to win some war or some battle within Teleron Riyadh. I feel like that's somehow going to form.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to steak dinner with you, so I'll take that bet.
All right, one of us is buying.
Yeah, I just want to have steak with you, bro.
Yeah.
Hey,
Sounds good.
Michigan's not that far away from Virginia.
It's not that far. No, not at all. So after this, they decide to go ahead to the tower. So we get to the part where they're on the bridge or across the bridge, and they're looking at the tower guard force. And it's about 1,000 strong, but that's a lot smaller than they thought it would be. And they're just kind of hiding behind a barricade, and they're waiting on Egwene's order to actually launch the attack, and she's trying to delay as much as possible. She's like, something's going to happen. I know something's going to happen.
Yeah,
but they're all soldiers.
It's like, how long can we wait? He's like, judging by the sun, we got about an hour. She's like, okay, we're going to give it one more hour.
Yep. Yeah. And just when they're
give it 5 more minutes.
5 more minutes. And just as they're about
once
to
she
attack,
begged for it, I had relief. Sorry, Alan, I know you want to move on. But from the moment she talked about how she had to go fight against the White Tower, even as reluctant as she was, I had this pit in my stomach. I was like, no, like this is like, it's against everything she's been working on and everything she sacrificed for when she was in the tower. But then kind of like what you were saying, Brother Dan, like, you know, all their advantages taken away from them, even within this battle, this conflict with the other half of the White Tower, like, if they had any chance, they had to do something else. So, like, I get it, but giant pit in my stomach, didn't want it to happen. So when she asked for that hour, then asked for a few more minutes, I was like, this is it. Jordan's getting us out of this. Or, what's his name?
Yeah.
Jordan /
Sanderson.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was relieved she was asking for more time.
Yeah. So, yeah, just when they're about to attack, they see a group of Aes Sedai, including 10 sitters led by, who was it?
Liana?
No, it wasn't Liana. Indea? Yeah, Indea. The gray sitter. She comes out and starts to channel, and immediately, like, all the soldiers like knock their bows. They're like, nope, stop. Then she channeled, of course, just so she can protect her voice. And they're like, the Halls just met. We've raised Egwene to Armelin. And Egwene's like, hold on. What about Elida? Like, and it's like, oh yeah, she's captured. Like, we think she's dead. And like, meanwhile, Garrett's like, this might be a trap. And she's like,
it's a trap.
Egwene's like, I don't think so. Like, but Egwene's like, no, I don't think so. I think this is it. Like,
Yeah, we got bailed out here big time.
Yeah, Egwene asked for like straight up answers, like, "Will you let us in? Will you accept the others? Will you give forgiveness? Like, will you this?
Reinstate the blues. Yeah.
No,
Yep.
It's like,
And
we
they-
anticipated all of this. Yes, of course we will. She's like, bet.
Yeah.
Gallops
All
on
right.
it,
Yeah.
Was pretty sweet.
So
riding on Bella.
So and that's how we end this chapter. So any other thoughts before we move on to the next chapter, which is one of my favorite chapters in this book, just for the politicking. But
The bailout was great.
I have one comment. Well, we got to discuss it at some point, and I'd rather not do it in the next chapter because there's better stuff to talk about in the next chapter. But we only killed one assassin during the attack. And those assassins can linger behind for how long? Days, right?
Oh,
I think so.
yeah, I forgot all about them.
So they're still there.
the blood knights.
And yeah. So, and this does bleed into the next chapter a little bit, but what I'm worried about is, we have this very strong moment of unifying, everybody's chanting and everything. And then Aes Sedai are just getting secretly whacked and stabbed and killed. And then, all right, is it the Forsaken that they believe is infiltrated? They're going to start getting paranoid about that. Or maybe they start getting paranoid. There's this rift with the Reds, and now people are like, oh, Egwene's having people assassinated, behind the scenes, or vice versa. And I want to be excited about this next chapter, and we will.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also worried that ish is going to hit the fan and people are going to start pointing fingers. And hopefully, like, as it happens, maybe Swan, having some experience with it, like, is able to see it for what it is. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I believe they're still there, and it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, you can get like mass hysteria really fast when you have paranoia and rumors start to fly through. There's been tons of cases of that. I mean, the one that's coming to mind is that Russian-Japanese Navy story that I sent Ian a couple of weeks ago, where like there was a rumor that the Japanese were trying to attack Russian ships, so they started just shooting everything that moved, and almost started like 5 wars with other countries because any ship that came out, they started shooting at it. Luckily, the Russians at that time were extremely bad shots, and they missed every single one of their shots. But
That's crazy to think about.
yeah, it's a crazy story. If you ever look at that, it's the worst naval battle, the most lopsided naval battle in history. It was during the Japanese-Russo War, back in the Tsar times. So this was early 1900s. But the Russians moved their boats all the way around Japan, almost started wars with everybody. And then when they finally got to Japan, one of the Japanese boats came up to them, and they're like, don't shoot at them. They're just fishermen, like, because they've been shooting at every other fisherman. And it actually happened to be the Japanese military. They're like, hey, you guys fishermen? They're like, yes. They're like, okay, well, we're here. Don't tell the Japanese. And then the morning came, and they're surrounded by the Japanese.
So on our show, we have a little thing called Taishar where we find little inadvertent sexual innuendos. And I have a couple that are underlined. Should I read the ones I found in this chapter?
Full set.
Giggity.
All right, yeah, you can call them giggities if you want. We call them Taishars. All right, the most tame one is, quote, mounts awaited them as well as a large group.
Taishar.
This one says, but I'd have pegged.
Giggity.
Taishar. And I mean, kind of my favorite one. I don't know if you guys will agree, but I underlined the term dirt rose.
All right, I had to picture it, and then yes, giggity.
A dirt rose? Yeah, okay. So those are my Taishar, gentlemen.
Nice. Very nice. All right. Anything else before we move to the next chapter?
No, great chapter.
All right.
This is what we've been waiting on.
Chapter 46, To Be Forged Again. All right, so Liaren comes in and instructs Egwene on the ceremony to be raised to Armelin. Swan is kind of upset about it, saying like she's already been raised. It's not just necessary, but Egwene insists that you guys raised me, but they had it, so it's important that I follow get their loyalty too.
Yeah. So as a matter of fact, you go help in getting our Aes Sedai out there together. Make sure they're in rows, they're in their ajas, and make sure they're ready to ask forgiveness.
Yeah.
Like, forgiveness for what? And she's like, because y'all bitches like started a war against each other. Like, but you were a part of it. She's like, yeah, but I'm not anymore. I'm all of us.
I'm the Armelin.
This is where my interest got peaked.
Yeah.
This is right when Egwene starts letting us know how it's about to go down. Yeah.
And you're gonna go apologize for what?
Nobody is safe
for rebelling against the tower.
But you did too. Yeah. And yeah, I'm sorry for it too. Like, we're all paying for this.
Yeah.
I mean, and she is in a funny spot, right? Because she was the leader of the rebels, and she's like, "Oh no, what we did was bad, and everyone here but me needs to apologize." Well,
so obvious question, maybe obvious answer, Chris. How much of this is influenced by her time with the Aiel and her understanding of toe and honor and
100% all of it?
Yeah, just like being principled over anything else. Like, yeah, that's
like
she's flicking everybody off with her pinky toe.
So does the rebel camp have toe?
In
they got 10 apiece.
Terms, there would be.
I would think so. Yeah. Because even in Aiel culture, like even if in the moment you're doing what's like the right thing, it could still be the wrong thing and violating a different, I won't even say more important principle, but you could hold up one value while violating another one. Sure. And like you would still potentially owe toe for the one you violated.
You can try to go down the righteous path of justice so far that you become the villain. I mean, and you can take like I'm going to use this as a geeky example, but like Batman Begins, like where you are taking it to the nth degree of justice to the point where you don't have mercy anymore, where everyone deserves to die because of justice and it's righteous and you're doing wrong, so we're going to punish you to the nth degree. But at what point do you become the villain too? Like,
hey, look, Thanos was trying to fix things.
Yeah, he was.
Hot
One of my
take.
favorite heroes.
In his mind, he was helping.
Yeah.
Should have aimed for the head.
Snap.
Yeah. So as the ceremony goes on, that's when
the hall looks awesome with that opening that looks right onto Dragon Mount.
Yeah.
How symbolic is that?
The symmetry of it all, like you had this big hole and then you had the light pouring in. It's like a new day. You can see Dragon Mount. You got sitters all around. Egwene slipped into her slippers. She's half naked. She's walking in. She's happy she told Godwin to stay out because she would have been flushed and blushing in front of her children. And they're just kind of showing their divine auras in this moment.
But now they're exposed more than ever.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like quite literally, there's a chunk of wall missing.
Yeah.
So there's some symbology there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can just see Gawain just coming in and be like, well, there's your problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Leaky roof, fixed it right there.
Right there. That's the problem right there.
You're gonna want to patch that up.
It reminds me of I had a friend of mine who had a sailboat and he was trying to get his engine to start and he couldn't figure out why it wouldn't start. And he didn't winterize it properly. So he went to go start it. And I was looking at the engine, and as he's trying to crank it over, I can see the block actually is cracked in half and is like coming apart, trying to turn over. And I was like, well, there's your problem. And he's like, what? And I was like, dude, you cracked your block. It froze. And he's like, how do you fix that? I was like, throw it away and get a new one. Like,
start over.
Start over. It's done. Like, there is no fixing that.
Like
crack a block. Like,
yeah, slap it on there. Flex tape.
Just slap it. Yeah.
just put some duct tape on it. It'll be fine. Engine replacement. That's how you fix it. Yeah, crack a block. You got it. He was asking, "Can I weld it?" I was like, "No." Like,
it's
no, that's not how it works.
We have this pretty dope moment as she walks in and they ask the question like, "Who comes before us?" And she's looking around. She's like, "There are no reds here." And then she turns to the woman that's with her. I forget her name, and she's like, "Silviana, bring her to me." And she's like,
"Yeah,
it's not really that." She's like, "Are you really questioning me? Like,
yeah.
I gave you an order. Follow my order. Let me get this done, and you'll see why I told you to do what I told you to do."
Yep. Yeah.
And she walks in. She says her vows. It takes like 2 minutes, and she gets her 7-color stole. And the person that brings it to her is like, "Child, do you really want this?" And she's like, "I've already had it. Like, this is mine."
Yeah, I think this is the best part, most heartfelt part of the ceremony. Everything else is just repeating lines, but that little back and forth was not part of it, not scripted, and very heartfelt.
Yeah. And her noticing the reds aren't there too. She's like, and they're like, "Yeah, we pretty much told them they're disgraced, so we told them not to come." And she's like, "I don't like this." She's like, "But they would vote against you." She's like, "I don't care. Like, we need to have a whole tower." But I mean, of the sitters that are there, they all unanimously pick her. So she doesn't
no washing the feet.
Yeah, that if it's not unanimous, you can still be raised, but then you have to have your feet washed, and there's a ceremony for that. So Silviana gets brought in. Egwene orders her released, and tells her to approach. She does. She kneels and kisses Egwene's ring. And Egwene then tells the sitters that there's a great deal of shame because they've all disgraced the tower. So she turned on the rebels first, made them apologies, but then turns right back on the tower Aes Sedai, and it's like, you guys should be ashamed of yourselves. You are supposed to be the ones that keep the Armorland in check. Like, that's your job.
Well, she pointed at the busted hole in the wall, and pointed at Syriana and like listed all the problems that are going on, and told them that every single one of them is culpable. And hold on a second.
Not very true. She's like, "This is all of your faults." Like, and I take blame in it too. So what we're not going to do is dwell on it. We are going to move forward. We have a tower to rebuild and solidify. We have a job to do. We're going to get on it. Part of that job too is continuing the healing. And at that point, that's when they bring Silviana up in chains.
Yep. Right. And she makes the point, you have to dig it all out to rebuild it, to heal properly. I mean, that's a very common thing in psychology or therapy or anything like that. It's to break it all down, get it all out so you can start to do the healing. It's a very, very wise thing to do. It's a tough thing to do a lot of times, especially if you have bitterness or like hatred towards someone else. But, rather than just, I always tell people, like, even tell my kids, like, don't just be quick to forgive. Like, yes, forgive eventually, but also like sit with it for a little bit, like feel it, understand it, and then let it go. Like, don't learn from it, and then you let it go, and then you forgive yourself. Like, and you don't necessarily have to let them know they're forgiven. That's more for you than it is for them. And move on with life. But don't just move on without learning from it, sitting in it, dwelling in it. Yeah, think about it. I tell my kids that all the time. Like, don't just be quick to say I forgive, because it becomes like really this like kind of trivial thing. And because trivial too, it takes away the meaning of it. Like, yeah.
Do we have any insight if these Egwene sequences, the speech here right after she get raises, and then the speech later when she goes outside? Do we have any insight if this was something that was written by Jordan that got incorporated, or just influenced by notes? Because this felt
Very Jordan.
I'll tell you why this felt Jordanish to me. Not just the overall vibe, but we talked very early on about his experience in the military, and he was Vietnam, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
and certainly wouldn't call him a pacifist from the little bit I've read about him after the fact, but certainly one who would opt for peace over war, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having gone through that experience and all the politics behind the Vietnam War, and watching America try to become the world police and everything, and just seeing how things have been backfiring, like this, what he modeled here is what I would hope our biggest world leaders could or would do, but it's never going to happen. It's a very open and honest proclamation of, you fucked up, but guess what? So did I. And, the buck stops here. Let's rub our noses in it a little bit. You have to recognize it. We're not going to pretend it didn't happen. We're going to say it out loud, and then we're going to do better because the world is dependent on us, sort of thing. Yeah. I feel like this is a very hopeful wish for him, not just in the books, but like this is something maybe we'd want to see in life and in the real world. It's what we're missing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So next time on the philosophy reads, we'll be diving into yeah. So after, go ahead.
So we finally get the moment. Like, this is my favorite moment, was when Sylviana is released from her chains, and Egwene brings her up, and she's like, she looks at everybody else. She's like, all the rest of you are disgraces. I know we talked about this already, but then she says, but you, Sylviana, are the only one who A, continued your duty, and then B, stood up against tyranny, essentially. Right. And she's like, and that's why I'm choosing you to be my keeper. And it was like audible gasp all the way around the room. And everybody's like, wait, are you sure? And even Sylviana's like, I'd be honored if you're sure. And she's like, I didn't bring you up here to not be sure. Like, we got a job to do. This is not it's a reward, but it's not a reward. We got a long road ahead of us. We have to rebuild relationships. We have to, on top of rebuilding these relationships, prepare for and go to war. And we also have to deal with the Black Tower. And, there's so many things that have to be done.
She brings it up too, like the Reds now have to be reassigned on what their duty is. Now that Sideen's been cleansed, like she brings it up, like that their purpose needs to be refocused. That they still need to be in Aja, and they still need
not eliminated.
Not eliminated.
Yeah,
no,
like they're not going to be totally changed. Like they still have a role that's just going to be tweaked a little bit, but it's going to be vital, in what's happening moving forward.
Yep.
Everyone also shares the news that Sidene has been cleansed, and everyone's like, I'll believe it when I see it. We can't trust them men anyway. But it shows, that was a few books ago. It just shows how slowly this news kind of passes, right?
Yeah. Well, it's yeah.
And definitely. They didn't want to believe it when it was first coming around. We talked about this a while back, like something that significant happened. I think even one of the characters was talking about it. I forget who, but it was, they said out loud, like that this change isn't going to happen overnight. Obviously, people aren't going to believe. Like it's not like the rumor goes around. They go, okay, because for how long has male channeling been a really big problem? Like a really big problem. And like overnight, people just go, okay, all good. But no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. And it's interesting that, talk about like how the Aes Sedai react to certain things that are like uncomfortable, like the male channeling. But like even the next scene where like Sylviana asks, like, but don't you have a keeper already from the rebel camp? Is like, no, I executed her because she was Black Aja. And like there's a gasp. It's like, okay, we're gonna stop this whole entire the Black Aja. We know it exists. All right, we're gonna quit.
All right, stop pretending.
Stop pretending. Yeah. I got a list of all of them already, so I know who they all are. So we need to pick a new Mistress of Novices. We need to deal with all the Black Aja. We'll use the Oath Rod. They're like, wait, the Oath Rod's like, yeah, I got it. I already have it. All right. So we're doing all these things.
We also have to keep in mind that there's got to be a lot of Aes Sedai who really have no idea who Egwin is. Maybe they were like off traveling. So this woman comes in and is just executing people, 50 of them. They're like, "What happened to your old keeper?" I killed her.
Yeah.
If I didn't know, if I didn't have any background, I would be kind of sus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. And as then you get to the reforge part, in order to rebuild this, just like a sword, if a sword's broken, you don't just try to fix it. You have to melt it down completely. And
Not true.
reforge it.
Not true. Apparently, you haven't seen Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Okay. Without
Little
elvish,
disappointed here.
without elvish blacksmiths.
Correct.
Yeah.
The elves can do it.
The elves could do it, but yeah. Anyway.
She gives her own like Gipper speech or Rudy speech. She's like, "We will be reforged, and we will come back stronger. And we will be awesome. Are you guys with me? Let's go get them."
Yeah, she's like,
And no one's ever going to come between us again.
Yeah.
And then one of the assassins comes out and goes, "Shank." You just everybody's clapping, and you see one of the Aes Sedai just fall over with a knife in her back.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
I wonder if these
days will
assassins
be
are smart enough.
legendary.
What if these assassins, obviously, they're hidden in there. They're probably watching all this. Don't you think they're smart enough to not only do these attacks, but try to make it look like it's somebody else? To not give themselves away
maybe they're
and
not
stir
really
the
there.
pot. No, they are there. There's no way there was just one and done.
I mean, if it was a really good one.
So your theory is
If it's a really good one, they make you a sandwich and demand a round two. Yeah.
Not if you can't get
They'll
up.
get you waffles, pancakes, carbs, whatever it takes,
Not if
and
they
then get
can't
you back in the
up.
game.
Are we still talking about assassins?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sure.
exactly what
Right.
we're talking about.
All right. So that's how we end this chapter, though, is with the forging speech, and and that Noah will break the tower again.
We are whole and complete.
We are whole.
We are whole and complete. I do have a couple tie charts. Do you want to hear?
100%.
All
Yes.
right. They're not that great. I'm disappointed. Chill on her skin. Sure.
Giga.
Okay,
One who comes obediently.
Wait, give me that one again.
One who comes obediently. Sorry.
Yeah.
That
And
has like multiple meanings too.
the women began to look up. Come.
Oh, I just got a mental picture. That's
Yeah,
hot.
I did too. With
Yeah,
the
there you
come. That's horrible.
I got a couple for the next one.
All right. That's good. All right. So, ready for chapter 47? The one he lost.
Sure.
The one that got away.
The one that got away.
Well, did it get away?
Hmm.
Or was it just taken away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it starts with just talking about how the Stoner tier is laid out and how it's just like this really maze in there, and how it's been a fortress forever. And even the Aiel commented about how hard it is to fight in there because there's all these like surprise corridors and intersections and things like that where people can hide. And he thinks about Matt and sees him in Camelin and his little swirly thing. And then he gets to the place where Kalendor used to be. And he just starts to ponder, like, why did the prophecies mention Kalendor? Kalendor's flawed. And I have to use women to use that. And it's a box. So
He's so close to putting it together.
he is.
Mhm.
He's so close. I've talked about how much more powerful he could be channeling with women. And then we're worried about him like breaking down, falling apart, making bad decisions in the moment. Well, what if, you could use all of this power but somebody else kind of be guiding it? Oh, wait, you can collar him. But we know Rand has the ability now to take the collar off on his own. But if he gives consent and it's somebody like Nynaeve on one side, Egwene on the other, or Nynaeve and Avienda that are wearing the bracelets with him in the collar, and then he's using Collindor, I feel like this is something that could come together.
I feel like that's gonna happen. That's a requirement in this book.
Yeah, but he's gonna have to consent to it, or they're gonna have to. I don't know if they could be powerful enough to keep it on, since he knows how to trap or tap into the true source or whatever.
Yeah,
yeah. That's why I feel like there has to be some consent there.
Waterholic Aussies sent some good quotes, like 2 hands, one to destroy, one to save. Which one had he lost?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that adds to the mental struggle he's going through.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says here he was a thing that no human, not even himself, could understand. A figure of legend, a creation of the one power, as unnatural as a Terangrial or a fragment of Queendar. Is he right if we consider the prophecies that he has to fulfill, we consider destiny and all this rebirth? How wrong is he wrong here?
I mean, I think this is the question we're supposed to struggle with the whole concept of the pattern, but then we have this idea of the Taviran, and then there's the hope that the dragon, a certain version of him, maybe this is the one, has the ability to actually change things. So we talk about destiny, you throw that out there, but it's not like, I think we're at the cusp at this point of a reader where you're not supposed to, we're hoping almost desperately that it's not like predetermined, that they actually have the ability to affect change. We talked about Matt and the rolling of the dice, and like, is that just a signal of something important happening, or will he eventually be able to recognize it and realize there's an important decision point coming up and he can actually affect change? Yeah, so my hope, I guess, is that it's not like this predetermined destiny thing, like there's only one way to do it. Maybe Rand, maybe part of what I was saying before, maybe Rand realizes that the biggest problem and the reason he has lost time and time again, I win again, lose there, and I win again, lose there, and I win again, lose there. Maybe every single time that's happened is because Lews Therin has tried to remain in control. And maybe this go round, Rand realizes that he is so broken mentally, he doesn't know right from wrong. We're about to run into this where, he's already kind of turned on so many people around him. We're about to run into him turning on Tam, who, gosh, don't let me go down the rabbit hole of like the special bond and relationship there that they have. And Tam is just like this gentle soul, or at least always has been in Rand's world, and he turns on him, right? So there's gonna be this moment of Rand realizing, fuck, I got to take my brain out of this, but I am still the ultimate weapon. So how can this weapon be harnessed to still fight and save the world like we're trying to do, without me and my mind and my like effed up decisions getting in the way? And that's where I see him consenting to being collared.
So I also wonder how much the other powers in his body are interacting and creating chaos that we're not even aware of. I mean, he's got the 2 kind of, we'll call them cursed marks.
Right.
And that
the 2 wounds that are fighting each other.
The 2 wounds that are fighting each other.
And you have Lews in his head that's fighting with them as well.
Yeah, like he's just a torrent of chaos all the way around.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I think whether he wants it or not, it's gonna become a thing where he's gonna have to wield, and he is going to have to be wielded or controlled.
Yep.
I won't use controlled, but I guess that's the word though.
You get emo Rand here with Waterholic's quote, guard this place no more, he said to the defenders. There's nothing here of worth. Not sure there ever was. Hair flip.
Very emo. Yeah.
Do it through the hair flip.
And they're completely offended because that's been their life for generations. That was their grandfather's spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm
now
sure
they've
this
been
is
told
worth.
just to walk
There's
away
nothing
from
here.
it.
Nothing here's worth. Everything here's worth.
And I'll walk the halls of tear till these tears stop falling down. Okay, Rand, shut up.
And tonight will be the night that I will fall for you.
Yeah, there we go. Remix.
So he's blaming seeing Huron. This is still in his head. What's any thoughts on that?
On Huron?
It sent her to bring him over, like, yeah, since you know me. He's like, yeah, I think so. He's in his mood. It says Huron. He realized that's what's bothering me, seeing Huron.
It's a reminder of simpler times.
You know, I randomly came across this thing today. Somebody sent me about like hauntings and ghosts of our past, and not all hauntings are bad. And the way they wrote it, it was like, you know, for me, there was my childhood home I grew up in, and then in high school, when I moved to Riverside near where Alan grew up, it wasn't that far down the road, but it was like two very different worlds. And I left that behind where I grew up and never really went back for the longest time. And then not that long ago, I went with a friend and drove down the street and just sat in front of my old house. And it's like all the memories and like just reminded me of the person I used to be. And I guess everybody, you know, you have those opportunities, or you run into an old friend you haven't seen in forever, or like you're driving home to visit your parents and you take the back road shortcut that you took hundreds of times, thousands of times when you were younger, and you haven't been down the road in 20 years because you just haven't visited. And like you just get flushed with all these memories and everything. And I think that encounter with our sniffer, you know, it reminded him of the very beginning of this journey when he was still ran from the two rivers. And he hadn't lost any of his identity yet, and he was still fighting the fact that he was the dragon. He's like, no, I'm not the dragon. This is crazy. And we're gonna run into some again with Tam. I think, you know, immediately kind of starts to melt and consider and think about things growing up and how Tam raised him and blah 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 blah. And he's just so conflicted. So yeah, he's definitely wrestling with it, and he's definitely he's recognizing how much he's changed, and it's not necessarily for the best.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And as he's wandering the corridors, Luz starts talking in his head. It's like, well, this is where your first failure was in the stone. And,
Loser.
Yeah, loser. When he tried to revive the dead girl. You know, brings back some of those memories. And yeah, he enters the next room and there's Tam.
Just chilling.
Just
sitting there
chilling.
waiting.
Time, traveling, Tam.
Pot of coffee on. Yeah, he went all the way to the future, grabbed a kettle,
Yeah,
water.
like, Tam, where'd you come from? Next month. What? No, don't worry about it, kid.
Just in a month from now, make sure you have a pot with coffee here.
Yeah, you're gonna need this.
Sounds like this is like a Rick and Morty crossover with.
Yeah.
There we go.
Tam's Rick, and Rand's just Morty.
What? Tam! Rand, you don't understand. Just get in the portal. But Tam, Rand, I don't have time to explain. You just get in the portal.
Where'd you go, Tam? He goes, I'm a pickle.
Where'd you go,
Pickle Tam?
I'm Pickle Tam, bitch.
Pickle Tam.
I think this is one of the
Hi,
first.
Char.
This is one of the first moments, I think, where Rand really comes to the realization that he still doesn't know which hand is gone, the one that saves, the one that destroys. He seems Tam, like first he's like, "There's a stranger here," and as he gets closer, he's like, "No, this is no stranger. This is the man that I called my father for many years." Like there's that internal struggle there, which I understand that. It's like, this is the man who has raised me, who's taken care of me, who's done all he can for me, but he's not my father, but he is, and he's here. And then like the wall kind of comes down, the steel is melted.
Briefly.
Briefly, yes, but briefly to know that it's still there.
Yeah. But Tam trips up and casually mentions one thing, and the paranoia, the fear comes flying in.
Yep.
And 100% washes out all of that softness. 100%, puts out that little flame of what Rand used to be that was coming back. And this is what I'm talking about. That the wrong hand survived.
Yeah. Can't you see that she's trying to manipulate you? She's trying to manipulate us. It's like she just wants you to smile. You want me to laugh? You want me to smile? You know what makes you smile?
Finger blasting is the best.
So was Cat Swain wrong here?
You mean Cat Swain the Forsaken?
Cat Swain is not a Forsaken.
She's the one who's going to end up with all of those rings and start the battle against Perrin inside Teleron Riyadh.
100% say no to you on this one.
I love that. Write it down.
Yep.
Was she wrong?
I don't have warm fuzzies.
No. She was not wrong because of the reaction after. When Rand sees Tam's face and his true fear, Rand is like, I've become a monster. I don't know what I'm doing. I think Rand has been going in the path that the Dark Lord has been leading him.
He was about to balefire Tam. Like
exactly.
He had drawn the weaves and was getting ready to balefire Tam.
Here's the thing. If Cad Swain wanted to use Tam as a way to soften Rand and in a not creepy way get Rand to smile again, knowing the condition he's in, she would not have just allowed Tam to go into the room alone. Remember what they've been trying to get Rand to do. They're trying to break him. The last Forsaken tried to get Rand to kill men. Dangon near did it. If Cat Swain is a shifty Forsaken that is playing, 7-dimension chess, she might take bringing Tam in, making it look like, oh, I'm trying to help him. Oh, I'm trying to soothe him. But what she's really hoping is that Rand would do something to harm Tam because she would know in doing that, whatever tiny ounce of what Rand used to be, this Rand that was reflecting on his time with Huron, this Rand that got soft for a moment with Tam, this Rand that still occasionally tries to connect with people, the Rand that Nynaeve was able to talk down instead of bale-firing that town of like normal people, that Rand will be 100% gone. If she could just get him to fucks Tam up. So is Cad Swain in the right? Well, if you're on Team Chosen, Alan's nodding his head yes.
I
think so I know I'm digging, into the conspiracy theory here. But remember, every time we run into another bad guy, they keep leveling up their game. They're more badass than the last. And by the time Cad Swain reveals herself, it's going to be the Forsaken, right? That's been really playing this, like I said, 7-dimension chess. This was a setup.
Chris, you're not on board his ship?
Tam was bait, not a treat. Bait.
Nope.
It's like the Emperor. Good, I see the hate flowing through you. Man,
you're not the first person at this point to make this theory either. So it's interesting because this is actually.
I could see where you would think that simply because she did destroy his resolve by bringing Tam in, but she did that because she needed him to remember the human side of himself. and we get clues from Luz that the mistakes that he made before are being repeated.
Lose
So maybe
clues. Lose clues.
this is what breaks. Maybe this
We
is what
just
breaks
got a
the pattern.
letter.
We just got a letter. Lose clues.
I
Sorry.
think that she's been around enough to see the wheel turn a couple times, and she's gotten some additional instructions from somewhere, and she's helping to lead Rand towards his true purpose. And I don't think she's going to be a dark friend. I just can't see it.
Well, Chris, could we agree that she may have put Tam into a situation of danger there?
Oh, wholeheartedly. She did it on purpose. Because then she could really judge exactly where Rand is at. If he off Tam or hurt him, then he's completely gone. Then that directs the path one way. We can't just get him under control. We have to force him under control. But the fact that it broke him kind of took it the other way, which is now he's more susceptible to the idea that maybe he does need help and does need some oversight and does need people like her.
But if she puts Tam in there as bait and he harms Tam, now she has all the justification she needs.
Win-win, right?
To rein Rand in with whatever it takes.
Idiot.
Because
Tam
all right,
knew what he was walking into.
What was between Cadsuane and Rand? I would say the biggest thing at this point is Nynaeve, because Nynaeve is still old school wisdom, still going to protect her people. Like, she recognizes that there's some not great stuff happening with Rand, but she's not going to let Cadsuane or anybody else come in there and just take charge and F's with Rand. But if Rand were to do something to Tam, if Rand crosses a certain line, Cadsuane goes to Nynaeve and be like, look, we have to do something. And Nynaeve's going to go, gosh, you're right. And now Cadsuane can get this coalition of people now focused on collaring or reining in Rand. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I'm convinced.
She's Breaking Bad Swain, huh?
Yeah.
We'll see. It won't take long.
Yeah, we're almost there.
When people say her name, Cadsuane, she says, "You're goddamn right."
Yeah. Say it again. Mufasa. Say it again.
Say my name.
Mufasa.
Heisenberg. Kids. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So anything else from all this? I mean, this comes to the end of this chapter. I mean, we kind of glossed over a little bit of that conversation with Tam. I mean, Rand had some good memories. Also talked about the Blade Master part of it. And they had some philosophical talk about like what it means to be a soldier. And Tam defers to call it. Yeah. He says, do you mind if I call you son? And Rand's like, He's like, okay, my lord.
Right. Also, imagine like you meet you send your son off to like college, and then he comes home and just starts calling you by your first name. I'm like, oh, well, okay. I guess it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was that. Now I'm Tam. Okay.
Yeah.
I will say, Ryder is 20, about to be 21. And after high school, he got into working in the HVAC and has really liked it, making good money. But he is working and he's good at it. And of course, it's summertime. We just had this heat wave. He's working like crazy. Well, my whole AC unit at my rental property went out and it's rating area reservices. So I called him and his company up and he went out there, diagnosed it and everything. And he calls me back and he's just talking shop with me. And I don't know how to describe it. Like there was a certain sense of pride, but also like it's that next level kind of like camaraderie. Like he's doing man shit and he's talking man shit to me. And this isn't, little Ryder joining the swim team for the first time and almost drowning, trying to make it across the pool. Like, I don't know. So I feel like this is a good moment for Tam, even though it's I guess I'm not your real dad. And that, that part might hurt and sting a little bit, but also he's watching this boy that he raised
Yeah.
You know, even he said, he's like, dang, they went and did it. They made a king out of you. Like, holy cat.
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. So there's some pride mixed in there. And, you know, they start talking about the sword fighting and swapping, like Alan said, philosophies about.
It's always,
Yeah.
it's always weird when you see like your friend's kids and you hadn't seen your friend in like years, or you've seen your friend's kid in years and like they're grown up. And the last time you saw them, they were a kid. That happened to me actually recently. I went to hang out with one of my friends that lives in Smithfield, and his son, I think, is 22 now. But last time I saw him, he was like 13. So like, it was one of those things where like I went over there, we're just hanging out, having some beers, and his son comes out to the pool, and I like did a double take, and he's like, "Yeah, I got to work earlier, Dad, so I'm gonna go hit the hay." And I was like, "Wait,
what?
Oh, who's that dude?
Like, oh,
Are you renting a room out to some man? Are you guys hurting for cash? What's going on?
It's your son? Oh, wow. Okay, I haven't seen him in years. He's a grown up. This is weird. Like,
I do have a couple Tyshars for this chapter if you want to hear them.
let's do it.
All right, so quote, a prick.
Tyshar.
Tyshar. Quote, he fingered it, its contours.
Tyshar.
Finger blasting is the best.
His quote,
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
a much better tool, Rand stroked it quietly.
Repeat that one more time.
Big Tyshar.
Repeat that one.
A much better tool, Rand stroked it quietly.
Giggity.
Tyshar.
But
Yeah, with Jordan, you could just throw a dart at his lines and you'll find a sexual in you. With Sanderson, it's much more Mormon. It's harder to find. You get a dig.
It's tough. It's tough. They're hidden in there. Eat the dig.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good. Anything else from these chapters? Overall thoughts on where we're going?
Egwene is the biggest badass. She's the best. She is the HBIC. Yeah, like I said, the hero we didn't know we needed.
I think we're gonna go directionally. We're gonna see the saving of Moraine. One.
Yes, agreed.
We are going to have Rand have this realization moment and go probably first to Elaine and then second to Land. I think we're gonna see Nynaeve kind of have to take charge with the Wise Ones and Catswain here at Tyr.
I hope that happens.
Dipped out. I think we're gonna see the Shan Chan start to get a little bit more on board with what needs to happen.
If Rand gets news, or when Rand gets news of what happened at the tower with the Shan Chan attack, do you think he retaliates for that on behalf of Egwene in the White Tower? Or?
He goes to Egwene. I think he's going to go to Egwene. After he goes to Elaine, he's going to go to Egwene.
Remember, wasn't it part of one of her trials where she was like, Amberlin, and then like she woke up and had to run down and they had captured Rand or something in the tower?
It's so long since the trials, I can't remember.
Was that one of her accepted trials, Alan? When did that happen?
It was
TV show.
Yeah, I think it was one of the accepted in the TV show. Yes, but I think it was also one of her trials where she had to go. Yeah,
because when she like came to, she was Amerlin, and then something was happening. She was like, "Oh my gosh, Rand!" and she was like running towards it.
Yeah,
because that's when we first started predicting that she would in fact become Amerlin. We're like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So maybe we're pretty close to that scene, whatever it is.
And I think Wolf Boy is gonna finally join back up with our crews. Like they never said he came with Tam. He may still be with his people, but I'm thinking he's gotten people where they need to be, and he's ready to get back into the mix of things. He and Fael.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are Rand and Tam going to reconcile at all?
Yeah.
Are we going to see them together again?
Yeah, that has to happen. That can't not happen.
Tam might just go back in time and then redo this whole scene and try and do it better.
It's like,
True. That could be where
You
we
can go back
actually.
15 minutes and be like, let's reset that.
use Bill Murray and Groundhog's Day. You can just redo it and make it right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a better solution, actually.
So, third character.
That's a hard one. I have a favorite character, but she's gotten it like the last 3 weeks in a row. So
I'm not going to go obvious. I'm not saying Egwene is awesome as that was, because Egwene's thing here kind of concluded a storyline. I still believe shit's going to hit the fan there, but what we're finding, this whole Tam interaction and Cadsuane getting in there is opening up a huge can of worms. You've heard me rant about it in this episode. And as much as I want to give it a Tam because Tam's my boy,
give it to
in a
Cadsuane.
very dark way, I'm going to give it a Cadsuane.
Knew
And
it.
only because I'm convinced
Girl.
she is
She is not a dark
forsaken, and she is playing some chess here, boys.
Not.
Ooh, yeah.
When you are wrong, I want my spicy chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
What if at the end of this book, there's like a short paragraph where somebody delivers all those rings to Cadsuane, and she goes, "Excellent," and that's how the book ends. And you're gonna be like, "What? What?"
It says, quote, this line, quote, screaming at them all, he wove threads of air and fire. Loose Theron howled in his head. Sidene tried to destroy both of them, and the quiet voice inside Rand's heart vanished.
Poof.
Is that Luz?
Soft
No.
Rand is gone.
That's
Or is that Soft Rand? It's the quiet voice inside Rand's heart.
That's the
Yeah,
real Rand.
he's got full Darth now. Darth Rand.
It's Anakin.
That's what will come
Well,
out.
now Darth Vader. Yeah.
Not Darth Vader. Yeah.
Here's Padme.
You didn't kill him.
My
I
favorite
killed
character
him.
is Sylviana for this go around. I'm gonna give it to her. She's the
Sylviana.
real G. Uh-huh.
That is a solid pick.
That's good.
Yeah.
She's gonna be playing a very important role.
Agreed. 100%.
Mhm.
She's got a huge task ahead of her, and even though she's been abused and mistreated, she knelt down and stood right back up and went right to work.
Yeah.
And remember, the Reds had the greatest number of Black Aja. There were Black Aja in all the
Mhm.
but there were a lot in the Reds. So I started thinking, I was like, all right, are the Reds really as bad? Is the mission and the goal and the job of the Reds, is their role really all that bad? No, maybe they were just influenced a little bit more by these crappy people to make them crappier than they needed to be. And Egwene was starting to hit the nail on the head, be like, oh, no, we need you. It's going to be wildly important. Gonna need to cleanse them of the rest of the black ones, but
so the Reds are the ones that have the excuse to be the way of the longest. They also, though we have the Greens that are supposed to be the battle Aes Sedai, the Reds are the ones that are actively out there fighting and doing things. So they really just took the group that was the hardest, most militaristic, most put together.
Mhm.
yeah, I've always considered, I guess I've never said it out loud, but I've considered the Reds to be pretty strong as far as fighting other folks that can channel. They had to have been to be able to corral these men channelers,
Mhm.
Correct.
and good at countering
That's why I
stuff.
think
And
the Black went after them because there's where the real power in this turn still lies.
yeah,
Yeah. Interesting.
it's
Yep.
weird how all of these books have conditioned me, though. Like, I can logically think that, but it's still hard for me to feel good about the Red Aja. Like deep down, I don't like them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to think of who I want to pick for my favorite character, because I was going to pick Sylviana, but Chris beat me
Short
to it.
ketchup?
Short ketchup, possibly. Loose.
Packet of ranch?
I'll pick Loose. For once being the voice of reason.
yeah.
Well, bro, what are you doing?
What are you doing, man? What are you doing?
Chill
Hey,
out.
dude, chill out. Like, I'm supposed to be the crazy one, not you. Like, stop.
We've gone down this route before, and it didn't end well.
Yeah.
Chill out, bro.
Clues. Dan, you have a favorite
I'll
character?
pick as my favorite character. I'll pick Tam Althor just because he raised a shaggy, plump mare named. You see what I did?
I see what you did.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Very nice. Very nice.
Nice segue.
Nice segue there. So
Yeah, squeeze her in.
next week we'll be finishing this book. So we're doing chapters 48, 49, 50, and the epilogue. So finishing the book out. So that's 48, reading the commentary. It's the name of that chapter. 49 is Just Another Man. 50 is Veins of Gold. And the epilogue is Bathed in Light.
Giggity?
Another.
This is a big ending, guys. You guys are gonna love this.
I would say this
Yeah.
inning is very peak.
Oh,
Top of Dragon Mount.
but then
Uh-oh.
again, it's a dark friend, so he could be just saying it to throw us off. But I trust Brother Dan, so I'm excited.
That's a
I don't
good
think-
ending.
I don't think it's going to be like, I feel like we're going to get like this massive cliffhanger, like something amazing is revealed. But like, obviously, 2 books left. We're not really wrapping anything up. It's going to open a huge can of worms.
Okay.
And that's why the
We're
books
going to end this book like this.
Pretty much.
What?
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Just the Man. This is when Rand finally realizes that he's gone too far.
He already has his redemption arc already. I mean, Darth Vader has
Yeah.
a little bit longer before he gets his redemption. I mean, it's
Nah,
quite the arc.
he's got to have it now. There's not enough
Okay.
book left.
Not enough books left. Okay.
He's not going to be the most important character anymore. We got other more important, stronger people to worry about.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, Brother Dan, as always, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. We
Love you,
miss
man.
so much and
We
always
appreciate
enjoy
you.
time with you. So thank you. Can you tell everybody how they can find your stuff?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. This is fun. Ryan would have been here if he could have. But I do
I
a
know.
show with my brother. We are The Way of the Leaf. We do a first-time reader show, much like yourselves. We're a little bit further because our readers do not have the patience that Ian and Chris have.
Patience. We have a
Um,
doctrine guiding us.
We didn't have it. It was thrust upon us.
Yeah.
Forced.
You guys are great. And we do a Sunday show where it's spoiler filled, where we are just lately we've been talking about the difference between show and book characters, so their character arcs, how they're presented, and whatnot. Yeah, and yeah, that's all we do. That's all we do.
The show's going to come back. Somebody's going to pick it up, right?
Someone else gonna pick up the
You
show.
guys are awesome. I'm so glad to be here. It's fun to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
We always enjoy it.
Thank
Always.
you, Brother Dan.
Whether it's
Beautiful.
on,
You guys are like literally like some of our earliest show like friends.
yeah,
Yes.
As far as
Yeah,
show
we linked
friends,
up
you
early
guys are
on.
like
yeah.
so early on. So
Yeah.
it's we've been friends for over 5 years, guys.
Yeah, we have.
Crazy.
And many of Jordan Con, and yeah, always good times.
Yeah.
We did that first summer of COVID together.
Yeah.
That's when the bonding happened, man.
Oh yeah, when you guys met up in the Outer Banks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was great.
I mean,
That
in
was
general, like when everybody was always online together during those.
Oh yeah.
Just always hanging out.
4 a.m. Like we got nothing else to do tomorrow. It's COVID.
Yeah,
It's
everybody was on
day.
everybody else's shows. Everybody was jumping into everything.
It was the best times. It was the worst of times.
Sadness,
But it was
COVID.
COVID was interesting. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. Anyway. Well, thank you so much. How you can find us is at thewillreads.com. It's a website where you can find our podcast along with links to all sorts of cool stuff like social media, Discord, Patreon, merchandise, all that cool stuff. So go check it out, get some merch. Yay, much rejoicing.
Yeah.
Go like, subscribe.
I have a floaty shirt. I have a floaty shirt that you sent me, Alan.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
That's my favorite too.
Yeah.
That's one of the best cartooning, the only cartooning of myself that I have that I really like. So.
Yeah, Tree did a great job. But yeah, so go check out the merchandise store if you haven't yet. It's pretty cool. If nothing else, go like, subscribe, all the good stuff, and do that to the Way Leaf too, because they're awesome and they're so much fun with all the stuff they do. So check them out, give them mad props. Like, subscribe, check them out on YouTube and anywhere else as well. And that's all I got for this week. So
until next time.
Peace.
Okay, bye. Thank you for watching The Wheel Reads.
Until next time.
Okay, bye.
Get your Coast Guard certified life-saving device ready and strapped on.
Oh, where are we doing tonight?
What kind of strap on you talking about?
Traveling.